Hello everybody, this is Michael with Late Night Astronomy, and we are here with a live view of a very crescent Venus. This is quite low to the horizon. The sun set just about 20 minutes ago, but the views of this are coming in really well, just to show you how much of this planet is not being shown to us right now and how much of the sun's light is reflecting off of it towards us. We're also going to be looking later this evening at Mercury. This is only going to be the third or fourth time that I've ever viewed Mercury through the telescope, but it's high enough now in the sky and coming around this year where we should be able to get some very good views of it. If you have any questions about anything as we're watching, please let me know. It's great to see some people logging on. Hello to you. Thank you so much for tuning in live. If y'all have any questions or you just like to talk or chat, please type in your questions in the comments section and it should pop up. Hello, very good to see you too. We've got 4 or 5 people here already. This is great. So Venus is moving in between us and the sun ever more every day, and it is an incredible sight to see as it gets lower and lower on the horizon. Have any of you all watching been able to get out and observe Venus over the past few weeks to see this transition? Venus just moving across here. Hey, thank you so much for coming to hang out. I appreciate that. Got a number of you logging on. This is excellent. If you have questions or comments, please let me know. Have any of you all been able to see Mercury yet? I was able to see it about a week ago, and it was a blurry blob of a mess. So when I see it tonight through the phone, through the telescope, that'll probably be a better view than I had last week with it. But Mercury is a tough one to get for just a few weeks every year. I was out the other evening around 4 in the morning trying to find Comet Swan, and I was able to do my first views and images of Jupiter and Saturn and Mars this year. They were pretty close to the horizon, so I wasn't able to get much detail out of them. But it was really neat just to see Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn again. I'm looking forward to those getting higher in the sky as we get into June, July, and August. Appreciate those of you all that are joining this stream. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If not, just enjoy hanging out, and we'll watch this view of Venus for a good while, and then as soon as I can see Mercury pop up into the sky, because it's not quite dark enough yet to see it, we'll switch over to Mercury, and we will go back and forth between the two of them. If you could like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not, share this content, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Music Guy 20, any luck with Swan is the question. No luck with Comet Swan. I was quite disappointed. I got up at 4 in the morning, went to a local open field. It ended up being foggy. It just wasn't that good of a situation. And even if it had been crystal clear, Swan was so close to the horizon that I don't think I would have been able to see it, even under perfect conditions from where I live. So Comet Swan, not one that turned out too well for me, but have any of you all been able to see Comet Swan? I'm actually out on my front stoop doing this. Typically I'm in the backyard with a little more privacy, but Venus is so low to the tree line that I had to come out here, and we might even lose it in 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll be broadcasting this live to you all and also to all of my neighbors walking by this evening. We've had a lot of rain lately, so it's nice to have a dry, warm evening. Have any of you all been doing any type of observing? Yeah, exact same for me, Music Guy 20, exact same for me. Have y'all done any observing of any objects in general other than Comet Swan or any of the planets? Have you been out to do any backyard observing or gone to any dark skies to see anything lately? Yes, that's a good point. I believe Wednesday is the launch date for the first American launch in, what is it, almost a decade now? So that'll be an incredible thing to see. SpaceX launching 2 astronauts into Earth orbit. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to watching that live for sure. Same thing for me for trees. Trees are wonderful, but when a comet's really close to the horizon, they can kind of get in the way of what we'd like to observe. There are some spots of my yard that have pretty good views out in different directions, but for the most part, not too much. Still trying to look for Mercury. I'm not seeing it pop out just yet, but as soon as it gets a little bit darker, we'll switch over to that, which is actually the target I'm most excited about seeing tonight for a few minutes. Appreciate you all liking this video. I appreciate y'all being here and your comments. I've had this YouTube channel for about 9 years now, but I've just started to post things regularly on it since this January, and I've been thrilled by the views and thrilled by the subscriptions. So it's great to hang out with you all, and thanks for supporting this channel and being here tonight. It is always incredible to me how bright Venus is. We're looking at this through a 6mm eyepiece with a telescope with 1200 focal length, so we're getting about 200 times magnification with this view. This is the crescent Venus is what's in the eyepiece right now. For the past month or two, it's gone from basically a half Venus to more and more crescent Venus. It looks like an incredibly bright moon, but this is Venus at 200 times magnification. Oh, and Venus is hugging the tree line near where I am. No, please, ask random questions. That's why we're doing this. That's great. The phone mount that I'm using, I got for about $20 on Amazon, and it's a pretty basic iPhone telescope adapter. I'm actually going to be doing a video sometime in early June looking at iPhone imaging with a telescope, and I'll have a link to it specifically there. But if you go to Amazon and just type in cell phone adapter holder for telescope, you'll get a lot of different options, and I've just got that mounted right over the eyepiece, and then I'm going live on YouTube, and this is just going through my iPhone for you all to see. Plane flew right under Venus, but y'all probably didn't see that because of the magnification. All right, Mercury has just popped into view, so we'll stick with Venus for another minute or two because we are about to lose it beneath the trees. And then we will switch over to Mercury for about 5 or 10 more minutes for this evening's observation. Keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming, anything about the equipment I use, any questions you have about telescopes. I'd be interested to know what telescopes you all own. If you own binoculars or a telescope, let me know what it is, and I'd be interested to see what equipment you're using to observe. We are just about to lose Venus. You might have asked me that question about ISS in the chat room, so I apologize if I'm giving this answer twice, but so I've seen the ISS through the telescope, I think 3 times, and every time it's like a split second it goes through, but it's an incredible thing to see it in it. You got to know exactly where to look, when to find it, and it just takes a lot of motor memory to see it. So that is the tree that Venus is about to move in front of. So I'm going to try to move the telescope while keeping this live, so you all might see Mercury before me, and this might be embarrassing and slightly entertaining for you all. So let me try to move this around and see if I can find Mercury while we're still live streaming. All right, so Venus went behind the tree. Should be up here to the left. In the crosshair. Hey, there we go. There it is. So this is maybe the third or fourth time that I've ever seen Mercury through a telescope, including one time, which was last week when it was really low to the horizon and bouncing around. So this is a pretty sharp view of it. Let me check on the focus here. Yeah, that's not bad. So Mercury is obviously an incredibly small planet compared to ours and obviously the gas giants. It's only a few weeks out of the year that you can see it right after sunset or right before sunrise. I tend to not be an early riser for these things. So whenever Mercury has the chance to come through here, I really enjoy getting to see it. So this is a pretty interesting. You actually make out the sphere of it. You can actually make out that it is not just a pinpoint star, at least from what I'm seeing here on my lens. Some of the bubbles and things that y'all are seeing are amplifications of dirt on my primary mirror. They never show up when I'm observing at night, but when you observe right after sunset, the sun can kind of make them show up. Let me get this back in there. There we go. I appreciate that comment about your observation. Thank you for sharing that. It went away before I was able to completely read it, but thank you for sharing that. Is this the first time for any of you all that you've seen Mercury through a telescope? It's a good question on ISO for planets. On the iPhone, I am not able to adjust ISO. But when I use a DSLR to image the planets, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, typically for Jupiter, I'll shoot at ISO 3200 or 1600. And typically for Saturn, I'll shoot at ISO 6400. For all the images I've been taking recently and posting on the YouTube channel of Venus, Venus is so bright, I've been shooting those at ISO 100 and 200. So it really varies for each planet. But Venus, ISO 100 or 200. For the camera I use for Jupiter and Saturn and Mars, it's almost always ISO 3200 or 6400. You want to shoot with the highest frame rate that you possibly can. On my camera, that's about 60 frames per second. Some of the imaging specifically for planets, imaging sensors you can buy can do 120, 240, 480, which is incredible, but those are quite expensive. I shoot all of my photography pretty much now exclusively on a DSLR camera. If anybody's just joining us, this is a live view of Mercury just after sunset where I live. We've got a lot of good questions coming in, good comments. So if you're just joining us, it's great to have you here. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content, I'd really appreciate that. So I live on the East Coast. I live in Virginia, and I'm facing east right now. West right now after sunset. Venus has just gone below my tree line, and Mercury is a very dim star that's just popped into view in the past 15 minutes for me. But if you're on the East Coast and you go out west right now, and look where the sun just set, you should be able to see Venus and Mercury exactly as I'm seeing them right now, and as you are through the telescope. Had the question come in, how many telescopes do I own? My primary telescope is the Orion XT8I. That's an 8-inch Dobsonian telescope that I'm using right now to live stream this through. I have a pair of binoculars, 15 by 70 binoculars, and I have a solar telescope from Celestron that I use. But primarily the one I use is my 8-inch Dobsonian telescope. Got a couple new viewers coming in. Thank you all for joining us. Please feel free to ask questions, comment, chat with each other. We'll probably go on here for about another 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go in and call it a night. But it's great hanging out with you all. I'm very pleased with how these views turned out. I didn't know how Mercury was going to look through the eyepiece, but this is I'm pretty happy with this. I do have a star app on my phone. The one I use is the Sky Safari app, and I've had that on my iPhone for 5 or 6 years now, and it is incredible how accurate and efficient that app is. I did not have any luck. I did have luck with Comet Atlas, if that's the one you're referring to. Comet Atlas was a video I did about a month ago, and Comet Atlas ended up breaking up, but I was able to see it barely through the telescope from where I live. It looked like a smurry circular smudge of nothing, but I did see it, and I was able to image it one night too. It came out as kind of this bluish green teal looking comet in the sky, so I was able to image and see Comet Atlas. But man, if Comet Atlas had stuck together, tonight was actually the night when it was going to be closest to Earth on the 23rd, and it would have been phenomenal. But there will be other comets, and some will make it and some will break up. Great to have a few new people joining here. Thank you all for being a part of the live stream. So I'm seeing Sky Safari as an app that a lot of you all are using. Are there any other apps on your phone that you use that you would think I might have an interest in or would be able to use? Sky Safari is the main one that I go to, but I'd be interested to see what else there is out there. I miss the days of Hale-Bopp too. That was quite a comet to see in the late, I guess mid to late 1990s. Thank you so much for that comment about the live stream. That's why I do this. I appreciate you saying that, particularly when Jupiter and Saturn get along, come around later this summer. I think those will be wonderful things to stream as well. About the only thing I can live stream is obviously planets. But I really appreciate you saying that you enjoy this content, and thank you for watching and for saying that. That means a lot to me. Mercury moving across the field of view here. It is a tiny planet. You can make out that there's a sphere to it, that it's not just a pinpoint star. Got a lot of people here watching, asking questions and comments. If you have anything that I can help you with, any question about astronomy, please let me know. I've got a new video coming up on Monday, I believe. I'll be uploading it probably Monday afternoon. That's going to be basically how to find and view Jupiter video. So if you have an interest in finding and seeing Jupiter this summer and want to know some techniques, please be sure to see that video. Thank you for turning on the notification bell. I feel like I'm a YouTube pro with you all doing these things. This is great. Thanks for your support. This is the best view I've ever had of Mercury through the telescope. I'll probably do a few more minutes of viewing it just through the eyepiece as soon as we get done with the live stream, but the sky is steady. The clouds have burned off for the most part. This is a really nice view that I'm very happy with, especially with it being through a camera adapter pointing towards an eyepiece. Very happy with how this has turned out. If you're just joining us, we looked at Venus earlier, the very crescent Venus, but it went behind a tree. So now we are viewing Mercury as it is traveling across the field of view of this eyepiece at 200 times magnification. That is the maximum magnification that I go for almost any target, moon, planet, or deep sky object. Normally 100 to 200 times magnification is going to be the best to go for it. I agree. It is getting to become a better and better view as the sky gets darker. Mercury is going to be at its highest point for us to see, I believe, on June 2nd or 3rd. So at least one more time, if the weather holds up, I'm hoping to get to come out and view Mercury through the telescope, as it should be an even better view then. My plans for Memorial Day are just to hang around the house. I will not be going out and doing much on that day, but I hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And Mercury is going behind a tree. So what you're seeing here is the tree limbs, the actual leaves that Mercury is going through. That's pretty funny. Let me try to turn this video around and we'll close this out. Never done this. Hey, okay, that actually kind of worked. So thank you all so much for watching this live stream. I really appreciate your support of the channel and you all coming out here today to just take a little bit of time to observe the planets with me. Thank you all for your support. If you enjoy this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I've got a new video coming out this Monday on Jupiter, so thank you all so much for hanging out this evening, and I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.